Hi guys, this is Charles King. Today we're going to go over fixing your timestamp in Lightroom. Sometimes when you're shooting events or weddings or anything like that, you either have multiple shooters or multiple cameras. Ideally, what you like to do when you do this is to sync your camera's timestamp before the event. That way all your media has the same timestamp, which plays a big part when you come to editing and editing efficiently. So last night I had the opportunity to shoot the touring cast of American Idiot, and I shot by myself with two cameras. As I pulled them in the Lightroom, I noticed that the two cameras weren't exactly synced, and while I have synced them numerous times, batteries go dead, things happen. Long story short, the times will differ, and right now my cameras are about 1 minute and 6 seconds off. So this isn't major, but at the same time, some of my images aren't falling exactly where they were, which means some of my exposures aren't where they were. So what I need to do is fix the timestamp for all the images on one of the cameras so everything lines up nicely. So let's go ahead and open up Lightroom. What you can see is all the images, all the normal Lightroom panels that you typically see. So while you're in the library setting, we're going to hit our # key to bring up your metadata filter menu. And as you can see, you can actually filter out the images for the images that were shot at ISO 3200, 2500, 6400. Yeah, it was a dark night. You can also sort your cameras or even your lenses and many other things. What I need to do is I need to sort these images out based off of my camera. So when we go right here, you'll notice that it only says 15D Mark III. I used 2. That's because I used two 5D Mark III. So the way you would have to sort those to see which images were per camera is you have to change the settings, which you can do here. You can even add in additional columns if you want to. Change your settings to show the camera serial number. And there you get to see that there's my two cameras. Camera A, camera B. Now there's two ways of syncing the timestamp on your cameras. If this would be a wedding or the type of event where I had two shooters shooting the same action at the same time, I would find something like the first kiss or something that I know that both shooters were shooting the same thing at the same time, and I would use that to figure out what the true time was. Since I was shooting by myself, I can't do that as I was changing cameras and everything is at a different time. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over here to my cameras and I'm going to go into my cameras menus and I'm going to go to where the time is actually located. And I'm going to look at that on both my cameras to figure out how much the time is off. And I can see that on camera 2, the time code is about 1 minute and 6 seconds behind. So going back to Lightroom, I can see that all my files that say CKG2 start right here, those files are 1 minute and 6 seconds behind. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to select the serial number that has CKG2. I'm going to select all, starting with this guy. Click right here. So as you can see, he's highlighted more than everything else. And I'm going to go into my metadata menu. And I'm going to go down here to capture time. I'm going to click this. And there you can see what the original time was and what the corrected time was. So in this menu, I'm going to go to my corrected time and I'm going to change that to 1 minute and 6 seconds behind. So I'm going to change that to 34 and 22. And then I'm going to click change all. Once I do that, all the images for this camera are now synced to the time that I've given it. So when I look at the images, they are all now in sync to where I was. From when the show started to where it started right there. And then everything is now synced up. So when I change cameras, everything happens periodically the way that I actually shot it. This makes things a lot easier when it comes down to editing. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and please stay tuned, subscribe, like, and comment if you have any questions.